Hello and welcome. So, we will create a game that has a scrolling surface. So, let's get straight into it and rename our project. I'll call mine Simple Scrolling Game. So, for this game, we will not need Scratchcat, and you can, well, if you wanted to use Scratchcat, you can use Scratchcat, but I will use this convertible car, but you can use anything you like. So we have a convertible car here, and then we need the surface. So drawing the surface in Scratch will take forever, right? Getting like drawing everything. So to save you some time, I will instead go to my backpack and draw out this surface that I've gotten already ready. So you can go to my um Scratch account and go and find this, and this will be called Simple Scrolling Game. And this Scratch account, if you go into Scratch and set up DGoyal, which is this DGOYAL, you'll be able to get this. It will be called Surface, and it should be called, and the game should be called this, and it will have some code in it. So with this surface, we will make it so that way it goes it goes to wherever we want it to go, and this will be our main part of our game. So why don't we make it so that way when the green flag is clicked, we will switch costume to zero. Let me zoom this in for you guys. There we go. Switch costume to zero, and we wanted to hide. The reason why we wanted to hide is because it will create a clone, and that clone will be the thing that is showing. But we don't want the actual sprite to show, we only want the clone to show. So we will come over here to control and click repeat 10 times, create clone of myself, then come over here to looks and next costume, as it will repeat 10 times and it will control create a clone of itself, and it will go to its next costume. Great. So after this, we will make it so that way um it will go to where we want it to go. So we'll grab out a when I start as a clone there. When I start as a clone, we'll want it for forever. It will go to motion, set X to oops, sorry. Set X2, not that. Set X2, then come over here to operators, grab out a plus operator, which will be the first one. Set X2, something plus something. X2, then we'll need a multiply operator, which will have this little star. Set X2, something plus something divided by something. So we'll need that to be costume number, which is near the bottom in looks, costume number divided by 480. It'll be very important that you follow these numbers as I have these preset and they are what we need to use. So come over here to variables. We will not need my variable. Then click make a variable and call that scroll x. Click OK and drag that right here. Set x to scroll x plus costume number multiplied by 480. come over here to control, then grab out an if then else block. So here we will need to come over here to operators and drag out an equal operator. This will show us that if something is equal to something, then do this or else hide. So we'll need if, and then we'll drag out a plus operator. If something is equal to something plus something, and in the second place we will need a times operator. So come over here, drag out this little star. If something is equal to something plus something times something, we will use this. Costume number times by 480 and scroll X. So practically this piece is the same as this piece, and put X position there. So come over here to motion. Near the bottom it will say X position. So if X position is equal to scroll X plus costume number divided by 480, then we will show this clone. Because remember, this is a clone. When I start as clone, that's a clone. Then show this clone. Or else we will want to hide this clone. That is the surface done. Let's see. Okay, nothing. That's good. So then we will have to come over here to your main player. This will be about 40 blocks of work, and let's get straight into it. So come over here to events. We'll start off with the classic when green flag clicked. Go to, so come over here to motion, drag out a go to x0, y0. Then we will have to come over here to variables. This is the part where we have to make sure that we don't mess up the numbers, because even if it is one digit off, it will mess up your whole game and it will not work. So type in negative 480 and grab out a forever loop. So forever, and then here is where we will need a new custom block. So come over here to my blocks, click make a block, and we will make this block name go to surface. There, go to surface. Remember to click run without screen refresh, and then click OK. You have this new custom block, and you have this block. So forever, go to surface, motion, change y by -1. Remember you do change y by and not set y to. There's a difference. And this has happened in lots of my projects, lots of other people's projects I've seen, that they've accidentally put set y to. Make sure it's change y by. Okay? Let's keep going. So come over here to control if, and then we'll come over here to sensing key, key, and we don't want it to be the space. We want it to be the right arrow. So click right arrow. If key right arrow pressed, then we will want to change scroll X by -4. We need to make sure that again, these digits are correct. Even if it's -3, you will mess up your project. Okay, now let's keep going. So then we will need another if block. If touching the, oh sorry, not keys pressed. If touching, not mouse pointer, if touching edge, then we will make it say Oh no for 0.5 seconds. This will say that means if there's like a gap in our surface, and that will be the void over here. If it touches that, then it will say, oh no, and it will stop the game. So come back to the code of your character. Mine is a convertible. So come back here, and then we will drag out a stop all block. Stop all. Perfect. So that's that script. Now we will come over here to the define go to surface block. We called it forever in here, over here, and we haven't gotten any code in. So let's get some code. So we will need a repeat until, then come over here to operators, not touching surface. So I'll repeat until not touching the surface. This will be so that way like if it's touching the surface, then it'll coming, keep going up. So that way it isn't like kind of stuck in the surface. Change y by 1. And that should work because if it's not touching, so it'll keep going again and again until it is not touching the surface. This will make it so that way the car doesn't sink into the ground. So now let's add a uh so that way it can go backwards and when it reaches the goal. So we can drag out a go to events, drag out a when green flag is clicked block, grab out a forever block in control, forever if, and then we want it that way when the left key is pressed, it can move backwards. So if key left arrow is pressed, then come over here to variables, no, variables, change, oop, change scroll X by 4. So we're going the opposite to the actual X and Y coordinates. So that means that if you're going up in like the X, so that way if the car is going this way, then the X will actually decrease of a scroll X. But if it's going this way, it'll actually increase because that is how the surface will go. The surface will go this way for it to look like it's going, so for it to look like the car is going that way. It's a great illusion. And then we'll need to grab over here to control if, then come over here to operators, drag out a greater than block, I mean less than block. If scroll x, that's in variables, scroll x is smaller than negative 4,750, so negative 4,750, then we will come over here to looks, say hooray. Yeah, that should be good. Say hooray for 0.5 seconds. And then we will stop the project. So controls, stop, all. That should be good. Let's test it out, see if it works. Yep, and yep, you can see the car is going forward. And if I press the left arrow, it's going back. Right arrow, it's going forward. Oh no, here comes the hole. Ah, oh no. Oh, the car can't actually go into the hole. That is a big problem. Good thing we tested it out. So let's come over here, select the whole car, make sure it's gripped together. This will make it a whole load easier. And, oops, sorry. And get one corner. And while holding down Alt, make it a little bit smaller so that way it can fit through the hole. Yep, and that works. So let's test it again. make sure you click away from the actual costume. And you can see that I'm holding down the right arrow and it's moving. And if I'm not quick enough, it will go into the void and it stops. Beautiful. But as you can see, I can't jump up. I'm pressing the up arrow and it's not going up. This may seem easy for the first jump, but when you come over here around the corner to the second jump, it it barely makes it. But of course we want an option for jumping. So, ooh, that's close. So we'll come over here to our sprite again and create a up. Make sure that it goes up. So I this is what we will increase make better in part 2, and I'll just use a basic when up arrow key is pressed, then do something. But in part 2 we will replace this block so that way even when the game stops it won't activate. So let's grab out a repeat 20 times. Come over here to motion, change Y by 5. Then we'll have to come over here to control, wait 0.25 seconds. And then it will change Y by -5 20 times. And then we will stop, not stop all. We'll only want it to stop this script. Let's test this out. Okay, I'm going along. It's working fine. Oh, and here's a gap. I press the up arrow, goes up, comes back down. Beautiful. It's kind of not the correct background for the moon. So we can come over here to backdrops and hover over choose a backdrop. Click choose a backdrop. You can paint your own backdrop, but we can go and look for a backdrop that we like. So if you can't find the backdrop that you like and you're looking for something like stars, which I'm looking for, you can come over here to search, then search up stars and stars there. Doesn't that look more appropriate for the setting? Stars and the moon. Okay, great. Save your project. Don't forget to save. And let's play. So you can see that we have made quite a lot of progress in this game. This is only part 1 of 2. And we can see that our car is moving. We have a scrolling background. We have the basics. So how about we add a timer? Because this has kinda like it's not competitive. Like it's just the car moving along, trying to reach a goal. And here we have a goal. Hooray! So we want it so that way there's a timer, and that will be in the next tutorial, part 2. And also, when you see, we have reached the end, right? It should have stopped all. But when I press the up arrow, the car goes up and down. That is because of the this sprite. When up arrow key pressed, that keeps running even after the game has ended. So in part 2, we will try and fix that, make sure it works properly, and there's also quite a lot of things to do. For example, if you finish, it just says hooray, or it says something, and then it just stops the whole thing. But if you accidentally die, it does the same thing. It just says something, in our case, oh no, and then it just stops everything. So we will have a start screen and an end screen to this game that we have. And thank you. Thanks for watching and have a good day or have a good night. Bye.